It's time for another Dice Tower review with the Chief, Bart Brunsheen.
This is the Chief from the Dice Tower. We're going to be talking about Police Precinct, Common Man Games game. And the designer is Ole Steinnes. I'm a police sergeant, and this game is fun. Let me tell you a little bit what it is. Co-op game. Always takes me at least a couple hours to play, but it flies by. And what you're doing is two things. There's a murder that's occurred right at the beginning of the game, and you've got to solve it. In order to solve it, there's these little decks all around the board, and you have to go to these decks and search them. And by searching the decks, you can come up with witness reports in one deck, the murder weapon in another, the report from the morgue, time of death, things of that nature. And while all that's going on, crime continues to occur in the city. And there's a crime tracker. So gang members are causing a disturbance in a neighborhood. Somebody's committing a burglary. There's a traffic accident. And you're controlling an individual police officer that has some little special abilities. And you're working with your other officers and detectives, and you have to go out and not only kind of bring down the crime element or solve the different problems that occur, but you also have to actively investigate this crime. I don't know why this hasn't been done before, and it's done so well. But hey, let's go ahead and take a look. Number one, the game has very simple turns. They give you cards for turn order. I have not played with the Dirty Cops, so I won't be explaining any of that. But on your turn, you're basically going to start your turn and you're going to decide if you're going to go handle a crime that is on the board already. So let's say, by the way, let me show you these real quick. Just different emergencies that are going to pop up. The 6 is the number that you'll have to roll on the die in order to solve it or stop it. So bank robber, the unknown circumstances. I have one of these tokens upside down on it. You go to solve it, you think you only need a 4. Well, right here, this suicidal employee, he's got an angry dog with him. So you're gonna have to remove a die. Uh-oh, he's got a knife. All right, so now, what does it say? Difficulties +1. So now it's a 5 to solve. He's got a bomb, are you kidding me? So now, I believe nobody can help you with cards. I'd have to look that one up. No emergency symbols. There's some punks with him. Oh, that's not good. Whoa, he's wielding a shotgun. Craziness. He's got a hostage. Dirty dog. This one, while not respecting uniformed cops, that never happens. And the cool one, because there are a couple nice ones, this one respects cops. So he's a suicidal employee. But you show up and you know what? He respects cops. You get an extra die to deal with it. You can talk him down. Love those. Nice little add-on. Here's the things that are going on. A murder has happened. On this game board, the crime scene in this case, well, in every case, the crime scene is located right here. Man's been murdered. Morgue is way over there, and it's got some cards in it. And then those two are predetermined. But there's a randomness where you'll roll a die and one is going to place the murder weapon in a warehouse somewhere on the board and the other one is going to place witnesses that you're going to have to go interview on one of the apartments somewhere on the board. You're going to take your police officer that you've chosen. He'll be represented by the card, but you're going to have this little card, and this is James Kirkland. Good things on the card is this number here is going to be the number of cards you're going to be able to turn over, the number of cards in a deck when you go to the morgue or when you go to the crime scene. The handcuffs are going to allow you to arrest or die that you'll use to arrest gang members. And the emergency is how you're going to deal with those cool little bank robber cards. You're always busy in this game. So on your turn, you're going to decide what you're going to do. If I'm going to go investigate the crime, I've got to drive to one of these locations. I'll zoom in a little bit on this here, and I can access the apartments from this space. So I'm going to park my car right in front of the space here. Now, since I'm going to be interviewing people, I'm going to be using, anytime I go to the deck of cards, I'm going to be using the symbol here. So I'm going to get 2 die or 2 dice to do this with. Let me show you exactly how these decks are worked up. What you've got is, you got some that are going to be nobody's home, so you're knocking on doors, nobody's answering. You got witness statements. You're trying to collect the witness statements. So in this entire deck, there's only 2. Now, I didn't shuffle these in, but they're going to be just randomly slid in to here, and you're not going to know exactly where they are. You've got a crime tracker board, which is just this board that lists all the different areas where you're going to put the items that are going to help you identify who the suspect of the murder is. And it walks you through it, and it's really cool, really thematic. It's as if you're just posting this up on a cork board. So you can see I've got room for 2 witness statements. So this board would be down on the table, and I'd be able to show, hey, I got a witness statement. So you can see what you need and where you've got to go. All right, let's say instead of doing any of my investigating work, I want to go deal with some of the emergencies that are going on in the city. So let's say we've got this bank robbery going on at the Stone Bank and Trust. Some of the difficulties here is this one's going to be tough to handle. Very much like the magnifying glass, this would tell you how many cards I'm going to turn over. This number for the emergency, corresponding with our nice little thing here, right here. This is going to tell me how many die or dice I can roll. 1 die is not good chance at all that I'm going to roll a 6. So I'm definitely going to want some help. So maybe if there was someone already, oh, by the way, let me pan slightly. So let's say somebody was already on 2nd Street, because that's where I'm going to have to be if I'm going to fight this crime. Let's say I roll up. If no one's here to help me with another patrol car, any extra patrol cars here would give me an extra die. I can again go to the same deal where I can get some help from these police cards. So the one down here, if somebody threw that in, hey, you know, a guy sitting across from me, hey, I'm going to give you an extra die to roll. Somebody else, hey, I'm going to help you out too. Now I'm going to be rolling my 1 single die, and I'm going to get to roll 2 more dice with it. So they're helping me out. Now you're going to say, why would you even want to go deal with these crimes? This card here in particular is very tough, because if I fail it, I'm going to end up going to the hospital, and if I'd been collecting any of these police cards, I'm going to lose them all. However, there's some nice rewards. If I successfully handle this, I can take either a donut. Yes, you have all kinds of little tokens that represent donuts, tongue-in-cheek, love it, I'm a cop, great. Or I could get an extra police card. The donuts can be used for all kinds of things. You can use a donut, a couple donuts to go back to the precinct and train and bring up your little scores on your handcuffs or your magnifying glass or your emergency symbol. You can also move an extra place on the street. You can throw 1 down and you can roll an extra die. You can draw extra cards during the interview or investigation phase, so you could pledge in your donuts and actually pull more cards off the deck in hopes of finding those cards that are there. The other thing we have going on in this block is right here you have bad hood number 5. And bad hood number 5 means that you can get little gang members that can end up being placed on this block, and they'll start causing problems. Another way you can lose the game, or you can go up in your crime tracker, is that if you run out of all these little hoodlums and they seem to start spreading like wildfire, if you run out, you're going to go up on the crime tracker. So I may have decided to bring my patrol car over to the hoodlums. So yes, I need to interview witnesses. Yes, we've got to deal with the bank robbery. But we got these gang members that are out here causing all kinds of problems. Again, we look at my little chart here. This is for investigations. This one's for gang members. So I'm going to be rolling 1 die. And this one's a little bit wonky. It took me a while to get used to it. I've got to roll the number higher than what's out there, equal to or higher. So if I roll a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, I can remove one of the gang members. And the bigger picture, what's going on here is at the end of each person's turn, they're going to take their movement, either solve a crime or deal with gangbangers or interview witnesses or whatever. They're then going to draw some police cards, as long as that's allowed at the time. Sometimes that gets shut down based on crimes that are going on. And then The very last thing they're going to do is draw another, I don't know, I was thinking them as crisis cards, but they're going to draw another one of these cards that's going to go onto the board. And the problem that comes up is that if you end up with a second card of the same color, so yellow on yellow, and you haven't solved the one that's on there, it becomes an urgent. And now you really want to solve this, because if another yellow card comes up, so I'm just showing you two here. We've got a shoplifter and a harassing guest. If these cards come into play and get placed on the board, you've automatically not solved this emergency. And it comes off the board, but you go up another one on your crime tracker saying that crime's getting out of control, and it's one of the ways that you can lose the game. So you want to manage these bank robberies, these thefts, you know, all this stuff that's going on, because if you don't, the crime tracker is going to go crazy and the city's going to just go into chaos. So all of these things, these three things are going on. And it's a constant battle to just keep them. You can't really win it, you just got to manage it. Because even if you go through each and every deck and you find all of the witness statements or the murder weapons, and you get it to the point where, hey, I know, I can solve this crime. The murderer comes out on a predetermined time. You've got a turn track. The turn track slides based on the number of players you have, but it's as if the murderer, I can't remember exactly where he starts, but he starts in like block number 6, and he'll slowly work his way around the map, coming all the way around. And if you don't get him before he exits, and by getting him, you've got to have all of the evidence found. The murder weapon, the reports from the morgue, the interview witness statements, evidence collected from the crime scene, all of that represented by this cool little cork board. If you don't have every one of these found, you physically can't arrest him, and he'll just flee. But if you've got all those things, and then you can get a unit on his little token, he's got a little murder token, then you've arrested him and you've won the game. I love this game, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think I would. As a cop, I don't read true crime, like fiction or nonfiction books. I'll watch a few police procedurals, but they're like Castle. That's not really cop stuff, all right? It's more on the humor side of it, with a little police twinge thrown in. This is awesome. I was contacted. My kind of likeness is on one of the cards. I did ask that the guy doing the artist make me younger and better looking, and I've had several people in my game group say the character looks nothing like me. What does that say? Hello? And the guy is kind of good looking on the little card, so very sad. But take that as it is. That only made me nervous when this was coming out. I was afraid this was going to come out and it was going to suck. This does not suck. All right, this is very fun. Let's define fun. You are constantly working in this game. That may not sound like fun, but that's what I like in a game. There's not really that much downtime. Turns are fast. It's not a brain burner on what you're going to do on your turn. So usually the other players are making their decisions pretty quickly. It's co-op, so I'm shouting at them, you've got to go stop the robbery. But it's got an unknown circumstance on it. So while you're doing the co-op part, there's all that activity going on. The decision's still your own on what you're going to do. What you do matters in a big way. It plays really good with 6. And I played it with 2, and it was still fun and engaging, but it was hard. It was really hard. It was so hard that we failed before the murderer ever even got onto the board. And the guy I was playing with for one of them was like, do you ever see the murderer? I'm like, well, not with 2. It's really hard with 2. But there's some little things that you can throw in to help you out. Some other cars you can control. And I'm going to tell you, it feels a lot like police work. It's not identical to police work, no, but it does cover some of that pressure of, hey, we got to solve this crime. There's a limited amount of time to do it. And meanwhile, we still got to handle all the other business that's going on. That is very close to police work. Now, I'm going to say right now, I'm asking that if there's an expansion or when there's expansion, one of the cards must be some crazy naked dude in traffic. Why? Because I've dealt with that twice. It's never a good day when you got a crazy naked dude in traffic. He's on something and he's naked. Just a hint, you never win when you fight a naked guy. Trust me, you never win. Wrestling a naked man, there's no good way to do it. But that card's not in here. I'm calling for it in the expansion. Enjoy this game. It's fun. And it's about as close to police work as you're going to get in a board game. And I'm telling you from 18 and a half years of experience, hello. Chief. See you guys.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.